Okay, so homework was, how much do you give? And why don't you give? So, did y'all do homework? Did y'all think about it? Yeah. So one person messaged and the answer was what we spoke about last week in class, that we scared that the other person won't receive our affection or won't return our affection. Sometimes we don't give because it doesn't occur to us. But then he added a very nice additional point, which we didn't talk about. Because the other person's annoying. We don't give because we don't like this person. We consider them to be annoying. Because, I mean, the other person is being annoying is not a truth. It's obviously a perception. So, but yeah, we definitely don't give when we don't like the other person. And so one of the reasons we don't give is our own likes and dislikes. And so even though it's not overt in this, we think, why aren't you giving more affection to this person? They're so annoying. But actually, it's because we want. It's got to do with wanting. We want them to be a certain way. And since they're not the way we want them to be, punishment. I'm not giving you affection. I'm not giving you attention. I'm not giving you my time because you're not the way I want you to be. And this could be an acquaintance. It could be a family member. But that's basically what it is, right? Yeah. But we don't realize that that's what it is because we haven't spent time introspecting and thinking about it. We just think they're so annoying. We think it's their fault that they're so annoying. I'm not the only one. Everyone's irritated by this person. Nobody wants to be with them. Right. They need to get their act together. And yes, they probably do. And so do we. Because that's a conditional relationship. I will only be nice to you if you are what I deem to be nice. And so if you have things that are difficult or high maintenance, as we may call it, then too much energy. It takes too much energy from me to have that relationship. Now I'm not, and then of course, this is a question that comes up, how much do we give? And I think I did answer this last week. All of us have a certain capacity already. And so a certain amount of how much we give is easy. So give a little bit more. So maybe with a very annoying person, I consider the person to be annoying, I have a threshold of 3 minutes. Then stretch it to 5. Don't invite them over for dinner because you're not going to last the night. You're going to snap. And stretch it to 10. Stretch it. So however much our capacity is, stretch. And then just keep stretching. Until we are able to practice the qualities needed for love with much more ease. And sometimes it's not even something that requires just, somebody who's usually very rude. If they find a person irritating, then don't be rude. Just not. I'm not even saying be nice. Just don't be rude. Or as previously would walk away, like in a very known, like I'm not dealing with you kind of thing. Don't walk away. So our giving doesn't have to become now we overnight these amazing saints that can love unconditionally. It's not, we're not being unrealistic here. But realistically, we can find a small way in which we can improve, which can actually be implemented. So somebody who doesn't like physical affection and somebody gives them a hug, previously they would push the person away and say something nasty because they don't like physical affection. Then somebody hugs, I don't like physical affection. Take a deep breath, bro. Don't push. That's already progress. I'm not reciprocating the physical attack. I'm still making it known that this is painful for me to endure. But I'm not rejecting the other person. It's a small step. Yeah. Or like I do with yoga, when my yoga teacher gives me a particular difficult pose or sequence, then I look at her like this. How many counts am I going to have to hold that for? Let's just get this very clear now. Because otherwise she has this thing where she'll start a conversation and like forgot that I'm just left in that pose. That's really difficult. It's like, no. We're clearing this up right now. How long do I have to hold that for? So if I am someone who doesn't appreciate physical affection, then you see the person coming to hug you, then you say, okay. We're doing this for 5 seconds, okay? So I know. They know. And it's an improvement from pushing the person away and making them feel rejected. They might even feel bad that you saying it's only 5 seconds, but at least it shows I'm willing. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is we have to find very small things that we can start doing immediately. Otherwise, we have this concept. And the more we learn about love, the more the concept of what love is grows. And it's such an idealistic concept that now it just becomes very romantic notion belongs in movies. I can't really do that. Yeah. And at no point do we want philosophy to become that. We want it to always remain, we can do it. So in my giving, why am I not giving? Because I don't like, because I'm scared, because I haven't thought about it. Yeah. So, doesn't matter if I don't like. I'll still receive or give, because even in receiving, I'm giving, right? So if I don't like to be hugged, but I let the person hug, I'm giving. Or somebody is very excited about something that doesn't interest me necessarily, maybe a new shade of lipstick. They're so excited about it. And listen, I'm glad you excited. Whereas if you say, don't talk about all these boring things, right? Listen, and then say, okay, I'm really glad you're excited now. Now. But first, listen. So it's such a small thing, but I can do it. I can do it immediately. Okay. So it's my willingness to push myself just a little that makes all the difference in my ability to grow in how I love and in how I give. And an interesting thing happens. Love is about giving. So I can give without loving, but I can't love without giving. So if I love, I will give. 100% I'll give. All of us, when we love, we will give. Now here I'm trying to love. Maybe I don't love, but I give. But the love's not there. It will come because they're so closely connected. So just keep giving. The love will come. We find this more so when people serve, right? And so serving is a form of giving. It's a giving of ourselves. I think I've mentioned it also already. Now, when sometimes helpers or nurses are brought in to look after somebody who's sick, as they serve, they grow to really love that person. Sometimes more so than even family members. Whoever serves will start loving, because it's just the nature of love, and giving is so entwined with love that if you just keep giving, loving comes. So once we recognize what loving is, then we can do it to everyone. So the great Saint Rumi, very famous. He's a Sufi saint. Amazing quotes, so deep and profound. One of his quotes is, everyone should fall in love at least once. Like one of those crazy head over heels in love. Why? Because then you know what it feels like. Then you know how far you go to be able to, how far you'd go in your giving, how far you go in your thinking. So, because otherwise we read love stories and you think, really? But if you've actually fallen in love, you know it's possible to feel that deeply, that strongly, that with that incredible amount of yearning. And you just have to love one person that way. And having felt it and knowing how far you can go, you know your limits, or rather your lack of limit. Because when you truly fall in love, there is no limit to what you do. Okay, I think we can start chapter 4 today. Chapter 3 was this whole bartering system that we spoke about. And so sometimes it's not overt, the way in which we barter in relationships. And sometimes it's quite overt. We really, you do, I do. Yeah. When we get into a business deal, even if we're bartering, we have to understand how much the other person's capable of. This is also another, so firstly, bartering is lower love. But in our bartering, or if we slip into that bartering mode, or when we become aware of we are slipping into that bartering mode, we have to know how much this person's capable of giving us. So I will work with so many different artists on my books. And right now I'm doing a book on Devi. And there's this one particular artist that has appeared in my life, and she's phenomenally talented. So she sent me her quote. It was like 3 times, 4 times my budget. So I put my hands together and said, I'm so sorry, I cannot afford you. And such a pity, because I really do love your work. But she wrote back saying, okay, never mind, you can be my pro bono client. So she's doing it at my budget. And but still this phenomenal amount of talent. And so in one of the meetings, I was like, I don't expect you to do that much. Because I know I'm not paying you that amount. So, please, I'm not expecting you to do that much. And she's a young girl. She's like, if I'm going to do it, might as well do it the best I can. And it doesn't matter now whether it's you're paying me or not, because I've already agreed to do it. So now this is a commercial relationship. I'm not the client. I'm the client. Yeah, I'm her client. I can't afford her skill. And yet, understanding the limitation of my not being able to afford, she's still giving her full skill. In a commercial relationship. Now bring this to love. I can love. I can give. The person standing in front of me maybe hasn't yet developed that talent so fully. They're still quite fearful or quite selfish. How much am I going to give? As much as they give me, or as much as I am capable of giving? When we do barter type relationship, I'll give only as much as you give me. When we're living in the spirit of love is my nature, I will give as much as I am capable of giving. But the very important point here is bitterness shouldn't creep in. So let's go back to my commercial relationship with my artist. At no point should she suddenly start thinking, you're not paying me enough for my talent, and so I've wasted my time with you, and I wish I had never started working with you on this at all. If that happens, we've stepped back. Instead of stepping forward, we step back, because bitterness then will make us less willing to give at all. Or it makes my heart, well, not necessarily smaller, but heavier, when my nature is to be light and full and happy. So now come back to love. When I give, knowing this person doesn't have the capacity to give back. Yeah. So that's why the artist and me are having such a great relationship. She's understood. I don't have the money. It's not like I'm one multinational company and I'm taking advantage of her because she's young. I don't have it. If I have it, I would happily pay. Actually, really, I would, because artists don't get valued enough. So when I'm engaging with a person, we tend to have expectations based on our capacity. If I can give, surely they can. No. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. Also, every now and then it's human nature, we start thinking, I've given, surely I deserve a little bit back. You will get back, just not from them. Bhagwan sends in so many different ways. As opportunities, as people, as beauty in nature, as songs that touch our heart, as so what am I saying here? In our expectations, even when it's a bartering kind of relationship, sometimes we overestimate the other person's capacity because we judge their capacity based on our capacity, but they don't have the same capacity as us. Does that mean I'm better than them? No. Definitely blessed to have the capacity. Definitely blessed to have the capacity. So then what we start to see is that to be having the capacity to love is a privilege. So I have the privilege of being able to tap into. They have the privilege too, it just needs work. Every single one of us have the capacity and ability to, but not overnight. To get to the point where we can, all of us have to work at it and be willing to work at it. Okay, before I go on, questions? Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the artist and your relationship strategy here. Where do you draw a line? Like, say, I was thinking in my head, I mean, the artist is giving you a lot of energy, doing his or her work completely. But what if you asked for, or someone asked for something which was maybe that professional skill level? Like, where are you buying it from? Or how are you making it? Or what's like a formula? I mean, and that's taken a lot of years to learn.
No, I use the commercial relationship just to explain how we can give love without, with the understanding that the other person's not capable of giving it back. Yeah, I wasn't saying in your professional life you'll need to give freely, whatever it is that you'll have. You know, you don't, as a professional, you don't need to give the formula of your recipe if you are selling a special chocolate. You don't have to, that's your income, and so that you keep as your trademark, is that what they call it, or whatever. So you don't have to necessarily give that. You selling that, but you can maybe make it available certain times of the year for certain people. Like you can give that item in charity without giving the recipe of the item on occasion. So yeah. I use the commercial business relationship because we tend to bring that into our aspect of even love relationship. But I'm actually not saying we need to bring love into the world of business, because the world of business, you have to follow those rules. But we can definitely be large-hearted in the way we work with people, right? Mhm. Okay, chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Your knowledge is your friend in distant lands. Your wife is your friend at home. To the sick, the right medicine is the friend. Dharma, righteousness, is a friend even beyond the grave. Beloved children, Hari Saranam, Namaskaram. In my last letter, I promised to inquire more closely into the nature of love. We found so far that man feels a painful sense of loneliness in him, and to escape from it, he tries various means. All of them are in the end proved unsatisfactory. They can give him, no doubt, temporary relief, but again and again, he starts feeling that he is alone in himself. The only moments when he is happy and at peace are the moments when he discovers an impersonal union with others in love. In the fusion of love with another, man feels uplifted, enthralled, divinized. This demand is the most fundamental urge in the human bosom, and this is the holy passion that holds homes, communities, nations, and races together. This love is of two distinct types. We may call them the higher love and the lower love. The higher love is called prema bhakti, devotion, and the lower love is known as sneha, affection. In both prema and sneha, the emotion of love is the same. Only when the love is directed to a higher object of love, it is called prema. And when it is directed towards a lower object of love, it is called sneha. Thus we have prema bhakti towards parents, teachers, country, knowledge, etc. While we have sneha for our friends, brothers, sisters, dogs, cows, flowers, toys, books, etc. Prema is the higher love. Sneha is the lower love. First of all, let us carefully analyze the lower type of love, sneha, and try to understand it thoroughly. Sneha is always for mutual benefit. There is in it a search for a desire satisfaction. There is togetherness in sneha. But for it to continue, each will always have to enrich the life of the other. The typical example that I can now think of is the mother and the child in her womb, the fetus. The mother's life is no doubt enriched by the child within, and the fetus entirely depends upon the mother for its continued healthy existence. They are separate, but they live life together. In fact, in their togetherness alone is their existence for each. The child cannot live or grow up without the mother, and the mother is not a mother without the child. Each completes the other. When we come out of the womb also, we enter into such a relationship of mutual dependence with the world around. In our sneha with others, each of us tries to complete ourselves. In the sneha relationship, we have an abject, hapless, and total dependence upon those whom we love. Thus, there are many who dread to take any responsibility upon themselves and so go willingly into the protection of another. Without this protection, they feel isolated, lonely, helpless, worried, sad, and confused. To such people, sneha is an escape from their sense of loneliness, their fear of living independently, ever strong and ever free. Here, they are demanding love. They need to receive love. They cannot give love. Such a miserable individual depends entirely upon other objects and beings for his existence. His house, his people, his tea or coffee, his art or work, his money, his friends and relatives, his usual food, clothing, language, temple, river, fields, etc. With these, he makes a prison house for himself and ever willingly suffers in it. Such a stupid one, as a disciple, comes to depend entirely upon his guru or God in a disgusting attitude of pathetic slavery. Such a weak one, as a child, clings onto his mother or father to make all decisions for him, to command, to order, to guide, to lead him. They can never grow. They become leeches on others, and they call it love. They are all through life mental parasites upon others. Not only towards parents and gurus is such a relationship maintained. Some of us have the same attitude towards God also. O Lord, I am nothing. I am thy slave. Thou shalt lead me, guide me, help me. This is the shattering expression of sneha, and not the calm glow of prema, the higher love. In the Ramanuja philosophy, there is but a slight relief. Thou art the whole. I am a part of thee. Even maintaining the idea that we are parts of Narayana is also sneha alone, not real and total prema. In all these instances, the individual is not fully born. In the womb, as the growing fetus, we depended entirely upon the mother. And even when we have come out, many of us are still depending upon things and beings for our existence. This then is but a birth from our mother's womb into the world, which to us is merely yet another bigger and larger womb. To be again born out of this dependence into the fuller freedom of personality is called the second birth. And true seekers of Brahman, Lord, the Brahmanas, are therefore called twice born. Those who grow out of the sneha relationship into the prema identification are true and fit seekers. This dependence upon others in the world in order to complete our existence, this sneha relationship can be of two kinds, passive and active. In passive sneha, the individual clings on in a slavish attachment to others, and they can therefore command, order, and lead him, and he will, in implicit abject surrender to another in sneha, allow himself to be totally enslaved by the sneha and suffer joyously therein. This dreadful type of mind is noted, and its nature is classified in modern psychology as masochism. The active type of sneha is characterized by domination. Such a one to whom the passive type surrenders becomes naturally aggressive, even cruel, in his domineering sneha. Such an individual escapes his sense of loneliness by making another as his vehicle to ride on endlessly. The more such devoted persons are around him, the more swelled up he becomes by including them all under his relentless commands, lashing punishments, and awful attitudes. The patriarch in joint families, the overbearing fathers, the terrible mothers, bullying brothers, pompous pontiffs, and authoritarian officers are typical examples. All of them are unconsciously trying to seek freedom from their sense of loneliness. The attitude of such minds is called sadism in psychology. A sadistic person humiliates, hurts, orders, and exploits others and feels relieved. Stranger still is the fact that the masochistic person, while humiliated, hurt, ordered, and exploited, feels happier just because he is not alone. Remember, both are suffering from the same sense of loneliness and the consequent fears and despairs deep beneath their personality layers. So far, I have explained to you the lower love, sneha, and it has none of the beauties and glories of the higher love, prema. Though you are all children, you must have in your own minds seen by now, perhaps your uncle or father or mother or aunt or brother or some of your friends who belong to these two types of lower love, sneha. You also must be belonging to either one of the two. Which type are you? In fact, children, you must understand that both types play in each one of our bosoms. In some, one type is more predominant than the other. That is all the difference. Just as the masochist depends entirely upon the domineering sadist, the sadist himself, in his turn, will be miserable without a masochist to rule over him, to order about or to exploit him constantly. Neither one of them is free. Each depends upon the other. This again cannot be the final solution for the human problem of loneliness. In fact, the rishis are never tired of repeatedly asserting that the higher love, prema bhakti, alone can help us to escape fully and entirely our horrid panic at our own dreadful sense of inner loneliness. Man needs must get out of his own self-made prison house within and expand, find his fusion with the entire world around him. This can be achieved only through pure prema love. We shall discuss this higher love in our next letter. In the meantime, try to find out the different types at home and among your friends and realize to what type you yourself belong. Swami Chinmaya, Uttarkarshi, 20th June, 1968.
Okay. So firstly, the book was written in 1968. And these terms don't quite mean what they used to mean in 1968. Which terms? Sadhus and massacres. They've taken on a very different flavor. So we'll maybe focus on that if time permits, or maybe we'll focus on that next class. But let's use the terms that don't have any connotations, prema and sneha. So here, actually, we don't think of love in terms of higher love and lower love. Love is love. But since things get mixed up into our love, we differentiate high love and lower love. What gets mixed up in love? So the first thing is the word sneha means sticky. Yeah. Now in a bottle of oil, after a while, if you touch the bottle of oil, even from the outside, it's sticky. That's what sneha means. I think in today's teenage lingo, they actually call people sticky. Sneha came from Sanskrit. Calling people sticky came from Sanskrit. What does this mean? When do we call someone sticky? When we feel they are needy, yeah? Or maybe wanting too much of our attention. That's when we call them sticky. When they like us more than we like them. Is that sticky? Or no? Yeah? That would be considered sticky? I don't know in today's world what would be considered sticky. Anyways, the stickiness is attachment. So what is love and what is attachment is going to be our today's exercise. You can bring me the whiteboard. We'll be using proper whiteboard, which probably computer people can't see. Okay, so you're all telling me, just to make sure you don't fall asleep. You can switch up this AC. What is love and what is attachment? So we're going to have two categories. Love and attachment. Shoot. Means start. What is love? What is attachment? Possessiveness is what? Then what's love? Giving freedom. Interesting that it's something we give. Really? We can give freedom? If we're not being attached, we're giving freedom? If we can give restrictions, we can give freedom. Okay, giving freedom. So attachment is giving restrictions effectively. You cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot. In one of these movies I saw, they do these wedding vows, no, in Christians. The guy's wedding vow was, I vow never to grow a beard. She obviously doesn't like beards. Restrictions. You're not allowed to have a beard. I know many spouses, both male and female, you're not allowed to put on weight. There was one person who told his to-be spouse, if you ever go beyond this weight, I will divorce you. He wasn't joking. But it's not gender specific. So restrictions, we give restrictions. Love is no restriction. Put on as much weight as you like. Grow a beard if you like. You be you. Okay, great. So sneha is the restrictions. When I try to tailor make the person. But these are physical things, beard and weight. We don't do it with only physical things. In fact, most spouses, when they complain to me, it's not about physical things. Spouses complain to me a lot. It will usually be a personality trait. We can't put restriction on personality trait. Or can we? We can complain about it. So complaining is? Why is complaining sneha? What's love and what's attachment? So I'm complaining about him that he is so obsessively clean. Accepting, very nice. Love is acceptance. Attachment is not complaining. Condition means no. Think. If acceptance is love, what is attachment? What's the opposite of acceptance? Binding. Restrictions. Trying to change. Trying to control. Which is similar to possessive. But possessive is I want you for me. Whereas trying to change you is? Yeah, wanting you a certain way. There is overlap though, of course, definitely. Okay, what is love? What is attachment? Nothing? I love you. Love you selfless means?
It's more about giving, it's more about the other person. Whereas in attachment, it's more about
So I love you because you make me feel good is attachment. Whereas love is I love you because because you're amazing. Okay, I know what you're saying. I just want to make it something that we know we can identify it easily. So, yeah. Maybe I love you even though you're so annoying. Is love. But attachment is you make me feel good, so I love you. We definitely love people who don't make us feel good. Because we can love people without liking them. You've heard this? Okay, so because I get something out of it is attachment. I might still get something, but I'm not loving to get something is love. So actually here, the way it's described is I love, attachment is because of, and love is in spite of. Is the way it usually gets spoken about. So I love you in spite of you being annoying. I love you in spite of you hurting me. I love you in spite of maybe some bad habit that you have. Whereas I love you because you are good, because you are kind, because you are is attachment. Anything else? I've rewritten this book. I've rewritten Gurudev's I Love You letters. I think the list is quite long on what's attachment and love. I mean, yeah, attachment and love. Even I'm not able to think of it right now. Anything else? Anyone else? So far, this is what our body is looking like. I think my computer is showing it mirror image. Or is it mirror image to me? I don't know. You know how to do that? Or somebody is sent it on the chat.
Swamini ji, we see it perfectly.
You can see it. Okay, I'm glad. Love is beyond death. Yeah, let's stick to this life for now. Attachment is when I have expectations, correct. And love is when it's just. Well, I'm able to let go of the expectations. Yeah. It's the because of and in spite of. Or maybe what you're saying is, I love you because you love me. That expectation. And then I love you even if you don't love me. Love is complete surrender to the person we love. Not necessarily. Because remember, I can love you, but I need not like you. So if you are doing some dodgy adharma stuff, I can love you, but it would be unwise to surrender to you. In fact, don't give you any money. Lovingly, don't give you any money. No, Radha is not attachment. No, 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 no. Radha, as somebody has said, love is Krishna and Radha is attachment. No, 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 no. Radha is love. Krishna is also love. Attachment is when desire creeps in to my loving. So please note, it's not that I'm only attached. I will love. It will start off by I love. And then while loving, some desire will creep in. Now, what will that desire be? All these things we said. Suddenly I start to desire, you're so nice, but if you were only a little bit more punctual, you'd be nicer. I loved you because you were nice to start with. But then this desire creeps in. or the desire that you should do something for me. It will creep in. Nay, it's my birthday. Now you should throw me the party, because if I throw the party, I look very like a loser type throwing my own party. You should throw me that party. You should, come on. The whole world should see how much you love me that you are throwing the party, and then you're not throwing party. Then desire will get bigger in me that you should do this for me. So the minute does it mean I don't love you? No, I love you. But now this desire is mixed up with my love. And the thing that is really tricky is we no longer able to separate desire from love. When desire creeps into our hearts, it takes over. Simplest desire, right? Isn't like party. This is not a big desire. It's not, I am sick and I need a particular medicine, and now we have to turn the whole world upside down to get the medicine so that I can continue to live. It's not that kind of a desire at all. It's, I want party, which anybody on this planet can happily live without. Nobody needs to have a party. Nobody needs to be invited to another party. But the desire will become so strong. So, there is love. Please note, there is love. It's just that something gets mixed up, and it usually is desire. Now, it doesn't stop there. So I want you to throw me a party, and you not going to. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you overworked. Maybe whatever. If you throw for me, you'll have to throw for 3 other people, and then it will become all too complicated in your life. Whatever the reason. Okay, so now first there was love, then desire crept in. Now you're not fulfilling the desire. So what's going to happen? Desire obstructed becomes, y'all know this, very good, anger, right? Any desire obstructed becomes anger. So now there's love plus desire plus anger, all beautifully mixed in. Can I separate them? Not necessarily. Now, this is just one faltu party. Imagine husband, wife, or brother, sister, or parent, child. How many small things keep going on in a day, in one day? You didn't leave the door open. You could have left it open. You saw I was carrying things. It's done, right? The next thing, we're sitting at dinner laughing about a joke, but it collects anger, desire. And then at night, I get a chance to process everything I was thinking. And so sad. You really didn't care about me enough. Huh? Yeah, no, you didn't throw my party. You just don't care about me enough. Like, now there's sadness. Because underneath anger, there's always sadness. Yeah? How will I remember love? There was desire, there was anger, there's sadness. And then I know I'm using but it happens with these small things only. These small things become big. Then some fear will creep in. Maybe you don't love me. Maybe you've never loved me. You're laughing, but it happens. And maybe even and because remember, it's not one thing, right? Usually husband, wife, brother, sister, I'm saying all day, this message, this conversation, that much. At night, when sadness creeps in, fear, very it will trigger insecurities, and insecurity is our sadness. Sadness becomes insecurities, insecurities become sadness. It's this wonderful cycle that keeps going. So now there's the fear, maybe you don't love me. And every child has felt it towards a parent. Every parent has felt it towards a child. Every spouse has felt it towards their spouse. At some point in their relationship, you have felt they don't love me. Is that a truth? No, it's a fear. Now, how many emotions are mixed up in with love? And unfortunately, we're not able to separate them. In Vedanta, we have this wonderful quality called vivek. Vivek means the ability to tell two things apart. Which two things? Love and attachment. Can I tell them apart? Very well. I know that person is just attached to me. They don't really love me. Not in the other person. Can we tell them apart in me? We're so busy judging everybody else. That one too attached to her daughter. I tell you, she's talking about her all day long. We great pundits in assessing attachment in other people. That's not where we need to detect attachment. Let other people be as attached as they want. None of our business. Even if they attach to me, none of my business. It's true. Because if I love, I will have the strength to be able to do what I need to do, not what they want me to do. And they will still know I love them. Even though I'm not giving in to all their whims and fancies. I've become expert at this. Don't give in to anyone's whims and fancies. Usual answer, if you ask me to do anything, is no. Jokes aside, when we truly love, the other person will know we love them, even when we say no. So, can I tell how many different emotions are mixed up with my love? And can I separate? This is fear, I will deal with fear. This is anger, I will deal with my anger. This is desire, I will deal with my desire. This is love. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. So often when we meet each other, we don't meet love. We meet fear. We meet anger. We meet desire. We meet sadness. Of course, we'll go through all emotions in a day. Not that we are going to be free of all these emotions. We will have them, 100%. In one day, we will go through a whole host of emotions. But can we separate them? And then go back to love. Can default setting in our lives be love? What is default setting right now? Right now, is your default setting defensive? I'll attack you before you attack me to make sure you don't attack me. A lot of people. Or default setting is. The other day I had a talk and I said, what are different variations to when we greet each other. So if I say, how are you? Standard reply, fine, thank you. So I said, let's try and find alternatives to I'm fine, thank you. And one person said, falling apart. No, don't answer that. You can to very few people. Sometimes default setting is sadness. It was, it can be, and it is for people. Sometimes default setting is scared. What will happen tomorrow? I don't know. But the way things have been going can't be good. What's your default setting? Homework. Change default setting. To what? Try out each one every day. One day anger, one day sadness, one day. No, let's just try love. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om